This is Rodison. This is Grasshopper. Like, good morning first. It's like a kid when you get up and you like first thing you want to do is like talk about your dreams and shit. Um, I did brush my teeth this morning and I did wash my face. The last few times I didn't because I wanted it to be sort of raw and uncut. Like I got up this morning and something that was on my mind was obviously things from like I say tales from yesterday, last night, yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Not really though, right? I feel like in the nighttime, your troubles seem as if they're right upon you. And in the daytime, the morning, if conducted carefully, the morning can be a time of relief. Like I link it to I link it to the idea that it's like when you get up in the morning. What do you do first? You go to the bathroom, right? You relieve yourself. And these are all physical practices, the literal physical practices that have representation and they are good for you. Like the reason you're getting up in the morning and doing those things is because your body wants to clear out what was there. It worked while you were sleeping. Like I remember talking to my mom. She has I don't know really it's a long story, the situation with my mom and I, my family and I indeed. My like I said, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. And what I did and how I did it was based on that belief up until I was divorced from a marriage that lasted about 7 or 8 years. I got married when I was 28 as a Jehovah's Witness. I was, you know, faithful to a sense. I was faithful until I learned that there was somebody else that I needed to be faithful to, and that's me. And I think that's what happens in the night. In the night, we're dealing with these conflicts, these ideas, right? In the night, you're dealing with them because the day worked them up. So here you are in the night, you're dealing with what you've learned all day, and here you are right before you go to bed. You're culminating all these things. You're kind of like resolving them, hopefully, right? I could talk for days in the morning. I used to wake up in the morning and I would just be rattling off blah 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 blah. You're like, what the fuck is he? You know, yawn, motherfucker. Wake up. And that's me waking up. There's a I don't sit and ruminate over shit. So if something negative has happened to me, I'm trying to figure out how to like, okay, I can't sit with that. Like that's not gonna be me because I'm not gonna sit in the negative energy and just be right there like as if you came out of the ring with Mike Tyson or some shit. That's understandable that you sitting there like you don't even know where your left arm is from your right arm if you came out the ring with that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't even know where your left side is from your right side. You don't know where up is from down. Understandably. But when you wake up in the morning, that fight is over. You've gotten the rest you need. Now you just got to deal with how what happened. And if you can do this in the nighttime, meaning if you can learn to resolve your matters at night before you go to bed, resolve them, meaning how? You see, for a lot of us, the ego is a big, 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 interesting thing. And we place a lot of responsibility on the ego. That's so we can clear ourselves from having blame. And we just say it's the ego. But now we got into the day and age where people call your ego out and people don't even want to hear that. And I realize that is what happens with your own ego, my own ego, and then anyone else's. The minute it senses that, wait a minute, I might not be holding this role tomorrow. I might not be playing this role tomorrow. It is the role I've always known to play. I'm your bodyguard. I'm your security, right? your guardian. I make sure nothing goes down that you don't want or you said you didn't want because you haven't said anything to me in a long time. We're just running off of this program that you set up when you were however old, and I'm honoring it. That's your ego. And I'm looking at how the ego interrupts or provides us rather. Let's use positive definitions and positive intentions. The ego provides you something. Everything in life provides you something, offers you something that you did not have originally, but it is yours. The only reason I say you did not have it is because you did not acknowledge it. But everything is yours. Everything is working in your favor. You may tell yourself it is not because that is your ego, your negative state of being. Your and not saying that the ego is negative. I remember there's a song with Beyonce and Kanye, obviously, and it's called Ego. And Kanye Ye says the ego is my imaginary friend. It was with me before everybody else came around. You see, that's and you think about the things that Ye did in his life that may have been controversial. But if you look at it from a perspective of what did the individual believe was the right thing to do, you fuck yourself up with what the society say is the right thing to do, right? And MTV and everybody said at that time with Taylor Swift, wrong thing to do, Kanye, is to go up on stage and do that. But let me ask you a question. And I always thought about this. I always thought about this. And I really sincerely want to know this. I really honestly want to know this. Like, even if I was Taylor Swift, even if I were Taylor Swift, I really want to know this from everyone. I really want to know this. Like, and it's a rhetorical question. Most of my questions will be rhetorical because you don't need to say anything. I just need you to say to yourself. You don't got to answer. I just need you to say to yourself. You will always answer the questions you place to yourself. You will always, you ain't fucking stupid to hate yourself that much. Like, listen, call it what you want to call it. But I believe you are smarter and have the wherewithal to know that if you are posed a question and you prefer not to answer it out loud, that you will answer the question inside because you understand that that answer might lead you to the thing that you're looking for. So we're not that stupid. Like, we all act stupid at times. We do stupid things, but we're not stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know better. Like, there's a point of us that like, yeah. So there's a lot of people that pretend. We all did it. We all do it to some degree or another. And I think that's what I talked about yesterday or the day before about dropping of the mask is when you're not, it's a lesson less we're pretending. The lesson less we're pretending is the more and more the mask, the matrix is falling from around us. And the more crazy and ridiculous we look to the rest of the world. So the question I'm asking is if if Kanye was your friend, if you were Beyonce at that time, yes, you're embarrassed because it's in front of the fucking world, right? It's in front of the world. But this is a question to show how much you value yourself over the opinions of others. This is a great one. And the world showed us how they view themselves over the opinion or under or in line or in harmony with this idea of how the world, how you perceive the world to view you, how you want to be perceived. So if you were Beyonce at that time, would you not feel a bit of like, oh, damn, word? Like, I wouldn't have done that for myself. But guess who would have? Kanye would have. You trying to tell me he wouldn't have done it for himself? So which one you trying to tell me? You want him as a friend or you don't? Or you scared that he's gonna make you he's gonna make you stand up for yourself? You scared that he's gonna make you call out shit? That's what you scared about. That's what Geminis do. That's what we do. Communication is essential to a Gemini, to that placement, right? To accepting what you're placed there for. You're placed there at that moment in that life, if in this life, in that sign right there. What is a sign trying to inform you of about yourself, about your life? What are the things that you're gonna encounter in life that that symbol is going to remind you of? And one of the symbols of the sign that is the Gemini sign, the sign of this communication. Like, people say bipolar, they say whatever they want to call it. Like, listen, man, these are made up terms. And secondly, like I am, I am, hmm, I'm an alchemist. Ever since a kid, there was my favorite comic. This guy, well, it might have been my brothers, but you know, how when you're young, you the youngest, you kind of like you absorb everything everybody else is doing. I like Mercedes because my oldest brother liked it. My other two brothers like BMW, but I like what my older brother. Most of the things he lined with, I lined with the music, the da 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 da. So I did it. Got into DJing because he did it as a young kid. You know what I mean? So it's like you're influential, right? You get influenced, and fucking why not? Why not? If you're the youngest of the pack, like, what do you think you came out to? All right, guys, get over there, and you over here, and oldest, you figure out a place. Come on, get your shit together. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. That's a hard, stressful job. That's the oldest job. And I think there's a lot of like maybe there's a purpose in being put there in that place, just like the same way the Gemini placement or the Cancer or Leo, whatever placement is to help you personally understand, and your mother and your father, because if they're smart, they're using your placement to help themselves understand the role you're playing in their lives, the things they need to be working on. You see what I'm saying? If they use everybody using their minds as sites, right? You had a child, so what the fuck you think you had? Just a baby, and ain't coming to do nothing for you. It loves you. You love it, and you feel a lot of love from it. Though there's a lot of other stuff that's happening, right? So you have to ask yourself, right? Are you more embarrassed by the fact that somebody would stand up for you, or are you in love with the idea that somebody would stand up for you? Because you should be in love with the idea that someone would stand up for you. And it's very easy to look at, oh yeah, well, Taylor Swift got played and da 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 da. And you go, okay, sure. Apology would take care of that. But how many people in life, including yourself, actually have actually stood up for you? To see the see, like listen, like, even if you Beyonce, you didn't agree with Ye, which everybody agreed with him. That's the bullshit as well, right? That's the bullshit as well. Everybody agreed with him, right? We understand racism in the music industry. We understand racism in MTV. Bowie called it out in MTV back in the 80s. And the dude told him straight up and down, well, yeah, like, because these dudes ain't gonna really sell over there. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Michael Jackson? So don't play coy, stupid, or dumb. Don't accept the idea that you will never be able to stand up because, like, you understand, they had to do what they did to Kanye after he did what he did. Why? Use your brains, man. Use your brains. Why you think they had to kick him out? You can't come back here again until you sell another million, 4 million records, and we have no choice but to let you in because you're doing so much that we don't want to lose money either. Like, we smart. We smart. We know that's what's happening, right? And if you let him get away with it, hip hop took how long to get in that thing? Took hip hop worked how hard to get up in that, get in the industries, get in all these different industries. How hard to do it? So if Kanye would have been like, Mr. Kanye, you are not supposed to do that, and but we appreciate you standing up for women, though, women of color too. We appreciate that. And you see what I'm saying? All these black women talking about nobody stands up for them. No man don't stand up for me. Man don't stand up for me. Man don't stand up for me. No man. White women too. No man stands up for me. Man need to man. The motherfucker stood up for a woman. Yeah, it was on the back of the other, but the establishment chose who they wanted. And an individual said, nah, the people said something different, brothers, sisters. The people said something different. I'm going back because there's not really many cases, points in history and time in which you can go to where a dude stood up for a chick and it wasn't her dude. Like the Will Smith thing with Chris Rock, that would have been like, I don't know, some other dude getting up and be like, pow to Chris Rock and hitting him. I'm not saying it was right to hit him. I'm not saying any of that was right. I'm not even saying any of it was right. The Kanye thing, I agree with him 100%. I'm not fucking with you. I've agreed with him from day one. I agree with him. I don't really care. Like, you understand? If you say yes, I might say no, just simply by nature of the fact that you might be saying yes just simply because they told you to say yes. You are only okay to say less. You know there is no threat coming your way if you say yes, if you agree. So if I know that, if I know you're behaving in that way, what do you think I'm gonna do? I don't give a fuck. Send the knives, send the guns, send the bombs, send the war. Come after me. But when you kill me, guess what I'm gonna go to my grave knowing, motherfucker? Why are you trying to kill me? You trying to figure out reasons to live. You trying to understand, why should I live? Why should I continue going? Why? But you like surrendering to all of the shit that the Matrix is putting in front of you, and you just going with it. That's not what you surrender to. You surrender to yourself. I thought about it this morning. I thought about this morning, right? I thought about this idea that coming home. Like, you see with the ego, like we were talking about earlier, right? Like, you ever wonder, like, when is it? When? When should you come home to yourself? When should one return to themselves? Because you always have been yourself in a sense, right? And you're returning to that. When should one do that? I was thinking this morning, I was like, yo, put it like this. If I was on my deathbed or you were on your deathbed and you had 2 minutes to live, choose to come home in one of those minutes. Choose to know yourself in one of those minutes. Choose to acknowledge that, yo, who am I? Just ask that question in those 2 minutes, in that 1 minute. Because I guarantee you this, and I can guarantee it because I have a knowing that supersedes and escapes all of the confines and constructs that have been put up in front of us and around us. Your soul will rejoice. You will not get on the other side, and your soul will say to you, why the fuck you took so long? It will say to you, thank you. Thank you. It's never too late. You know what I'm saying? Like the last 30 seconds of those 2 minutes, if you said, yo, what the fuck, man? I should have did better. I gotta figure out how to do better. What? Yo, you don't test your own power. You don't test your own power. There's a Doctor Who episode, right? There was a Doctor Who episode, one of the latest ones. I forgot. It was the black dude was playing it. He was really good, man. And everything was like one season or two. I don't know. It was too short to me, but it was really good. Like he was killing it, man. It was like I think he's like British, obviously, and he has like the African descent black dude. I think he might be gay. Beautiful character, beautiful character. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful character, right? There's an episode with him and I forget the lady that's in the scene with him, but they're in a motion picture. They get trapped in it. This like God put them in this motion picture. It's like like a stick figure or still images, like this one of the earlier cartoon kind of things, right? And that's what I'm saying. You guys gotta pay attention to what you're looking at. And Doctor Who is a big one to help you understand to some degree. At least open your imagination. Now that's what's happening. It's like as a kid, I watched a lot of cartoons, lots of cartoons, right? Lots of shit that opened my imagination, reminded me of like, "Oh, this is possible, that's possible. I was Jehovah's Witness. I didn't think it was possible even back then. But it was just fun to think about. And you don't understand as a kid. If you're thinking about it, if you've seen it, you're believing in it. That's children. That's adults too. But adults use the ego to tell them, no, 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 that's not true. We just imagining right now. We just imagining right now. As if you don't understand how important and key fundamentally imagination is to your actual reality, to who you are and what you believe. It's very fundamental. It's integral to all of that, right? So I would watch all these cartoons. I would watch all of these shows. They would broaden and develop my imagination further and farther. And when we resolve things in the way of not making ourselves the victim, right? But we resolving it. So in the Doctor Who episode, the two of them are in this pit, this in the end, they like looking at them. They like you can see the screen, like you watching me right now, but it's a cartoon, and it's the two of them in the scene, and they like looking at each other like, "Yo, we cartoons. What the fuck is going on?" Like they ain't say fuck, but so. And the point is that as they're looking at each other, and they're like, "Yo, what in the world is this?" And it's like, and then like they start in a sense venting, like they start expressing what their actual reality is at that moment, right? And they're stick figures, I think, right? So they start expressing in whatever ways they can. They start verbally expressing the frustrations that they're going through in this situation. And so the minute one of them does it, they shift from 2D, like I think it was like 1D to 2D, and then 2D to 3D. So so they realized it the first time they did, and she was like, "Whoa, you turned in like he became not stick figure, but the next whatever it is." I don't really know cartoons like that actual part of cartoons. I know the watching of the cartoons and the enjoying of them, um, but I don't know like the actual science or art behind it in that way. You know what I mean? So, but they went from stick figures once they had this realization of like, "Yo, we're stick figures." But we don't want to be, you see what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to, like, I don't like being like this because, like, da 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 da, and I can't do this, and I'm only like in this image, and I'm da da da. The minute they did that, They evolved out of that situation into another situation, into another image, like 3D. And what the show was demonstrating, and it was beautiful. Like I watch shows, like you guys, you gotta pay attention, man. What it was teaching was that it was saying your interaction with your reality is the actual thing that helps you to evolve. So when you resolve things, evolve, resolve, right? You have to resolve in order to evolve, right? So think about it. You have issues in your life. You will obviously have issues in your life. Like I said to you, issues don't mean negative or positive. Issues just means a thing. Do you want to pick up the thing and play with it? But it's in your life right now, so you probably should. You probably should play with it, examine it, understand it, and express how you feel about it to the reality, to the world, without any resentment, without any holding. You may feel like yeah, man, I miss that person really bad. Yeah, they fucked you over 15 different ways from Sunday, but I still miss them. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. I know they're not good for me. I know they're not good for me. Yeah, I can name the fucking ways they fucked me over. This, that, and then over there, and then over here, and then over there. But I do miss them. You know why? Because I have a heart. You say that to your reality. What are you doing? You're putting the ego aside and saying, yo, like, we gotta be real though. We gotta be real. I ain't trying to say I want shit back, but I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. As the realer you are, the realer you get. And that was the point of the Doctor Who episode. The more you express your reality to the reality, the more you express what you're experiencing. It may not be exactly what you're happening, but the only way you're gonna get information to show you that, yo, there's another way to look at it, is you have to express it. Yeah, everybody knows it's going down around you. The bombs are dropping, but half the motherfuckers around you are doing what? What were you doing the day before? I don't see no bombs. Ain't no bombs dropping around me. And boom, I ain't no bombs dropping. Boom, ain't no bombs dropping. Boom. You're not being real. You're not saying to yourself, yo, we shook to death, man. We scared. Yo, why we? Why is this shit happening to me? Like, I swear, I did this, and I was just like minding my business. Why? I don't understand. The answer's gonna come because you are real. Real gets real. Phony, fake, pretend gets pretense. You don't get anything real by pretending. You're not gonna get any. Are you gonna get something real by pretending? So who knows if you're pretending? You. So when you don't get, you know why you didn't get it. When you don't evolve, you know why you didn't evolve. It's just same, plain and simple, man. Like the egotistical part of us is causing us to not experience life and be honest about it. Like we're trying to avoid situations in life because we are scared of being hurt. Listen, man. Listen, man and woman. If you're a male or female, like, do you think do you think a Martin Luther King was scared of being hurt? But yeah, he's the most powerful man on the planet. But I mean, who do you think in your life, you Vladimir Putin, is you would be that dumb to accept this society's way of looking at power? You would be that dumb? You really mean to tell me that a motherfucker like Martin Luther King, to you ain't the most powerful motherfucker that ever existed? You ain't meet Jesus. So, like, I mean, it ain't a recent history. Jesus happened over 2,000, 3,000, 2,500 years ago. So you don't know Jesus, but you know Martin Luther King. And I'm not saying you need to drop down, pick up your torture stick, and go follow King. But the point is, who do you admire? Because that's your ego. See, I admire Martin Luther King. I always have, always will. I admire Malcolm X. I admire Marcus Garvey. I admire Medgar Evers, Nikola Tesla. I admire people who George Washington Carver, who are going to do things that are separate. And I'm forgetting the dude's name who's with Edison and the black dude who developed, I think, the filament in the bulbs. Um, but these are dudes that I admire. Why? Because they broke against the grain. They did something when everybody else was doing something else. Nikola Tesla, let me tell you this. If you want to read about a dude, like there is, you don't get many white men, so-called white. I say so-called because I don't really try to apply to this whole structural thing of like white and black and da 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 da. Yeah, we all are variations of color, of spectrum. We all are. But the same way I told you yesterday that I'm a representation of all of the astrological signs. Even in the Chinese calendar, there's the dragon, year of the dragon. I'm the year of the cock. You might think like, what the fuck? That's all games. There's a monkey. There's the tiger. There's the there's all kinds of things. It has representation. You can actually, you know what I'm saying? If you want to act like you working towards your advancement, I started to look at the Chinese astrological calendar and compare it to the astrological calendar of the Gemini and the Leo of the American or westernized one. And I started to draw correlations between like the year of the dragon and say, for instance, I think it was I forget which one it was. Was it the tiger? Was it no? The tiger is the same thing. Well, not same thing, but it's in the same calendar. It's Chinese calendar. But I think I forget which one it was. But you could do that because the information that you have for the astrological calendar that you're using to say Gemini or Leo or Cancer, why do you think the Chinese got their version? You don't think like you think the science, the art is different? Like my investigative mind says, yeah, I gotta figure out the correlations between these things. I gotta figure out the similarities because they got to be. It got to be. It's besides the fact that even if it was two different species doing it, it happened on the same planet. I remember when Nikola Tesla. I remember right. I, I remember hearing this, watching and reading about Nikola Tesla when he was like the radio. And I forget the dude's name, Italian dude was he was on one side of the planet. Well, not one side really, because the dude's in Italy. I think he might have been in like where he's from, like Europe or something like that anyway. So it's not one side of the planet to the other. But there wasn't telephone, but it was development of the radio. And while he was working on his on one side, I think Marconi or something, I forget. The Italians dude was working on the other side. They didn't know each other at the time. When he put his out, the dude put his out, and it was like almost simultaneously. You ever notice how the automobile, like, who invented it? Some say Henry Ford, some say Mercedes Benz, some say a guy before that. But how does this all happen at the same time, right? Airplanes, look at it. Everything is developed that way. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a synchronicity. We live in a sphere, right? This is a so what do you think what do you think you don't think you got to understand how connected we are. Resonance means that we're connected. It means that a great idea is happening in some place in Mozambique, and the same great idea with variations is happening in China or in Ukraine or in Russia or wherever the fuck you want to talk about it. But that's how these things work. That's how they operate. A great idea doesn't belong to me. It's tapping in. It's like, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? How we do everything in life to exemplify what the reality of the actual universe is, but then we don't want to believe the universe, but we making miniature versions of it. Like you got libraries in every community. What are your libraries for? So the average individual can go in and learn about the culture and everything else, right? But why you put one in every center? Why you put one in like in Brooklyn? There's how many libraries? Manhattan, there's how many libraries? There's a main one, the main branch, but how many libraries you got? Why? So everyone can have the information. Can everyone can learn? Can have the same information? The universe did it first, man. You just didn't want to walk into that library and pick up the book the universe had on, I don't know, quantum physics. You just didn't, that wasn't your interest. That wasn't your interest. That's all it is. If it was your interest, you would have sat there and you would have tapped in. You know what the most crazy thing is? People go to Ellis Island to find out where they came from, their families. People do background checks on themselves. I forget what they call them now, the 23andMe and bullshit like that, to find out who they really are. So some motherfucker in the physical realm could tell them where their lineage has come from. You're so literal. I said this yesterday. So literal. You have signs telling you where you're from. I have a sign saying, "Yo, Rod, you were born on this day, this year." Did it? I heard something like maybe like a month or 2 months or 2 months ago. This year, I love learning, and I don't have a block on where and how it will be. I will take learning in. Don't have a block. I mean, I'm not stupid enough to put a block on myself. Like that's like you got to be honest with yourself now. That's your stupidity if you did that. If you placed a block on yourself and said your information has to come from this place, this source, and da da da. I remember having a conversation with a dude about that years ago, and I was getting my analogy. I said, so let me get this straight. If you read in the New York Times right now that who was it we were talking about? I think it was, I don't know who was we talking about. Like, say for instance, it was the RZA from Wu Tang. And I said, say he was writing up New York Times a story about brain surgery. And the dude I was talking to told me straight up and down, nah, I ain't, why would I listen to that for? What does he know about brain surgery? What does he know about the brain? He's a rapper. And I was like, you that dumb. You that dumb. You see what I'm saying? But he need credentials. But not credentials in the sense of like anything other than the physical reality. Like, what does the physical reality has? What has the physical reality told him is okay? You see, it's like it's why a lot of people didn't believe in me. But whose fault is it? It's not like somebody tricked you. You were just so stupidly dumb that you said, "Nah, it can't be him." Even though he's doing like Jesus, even though he motherfucker walking on water. Nah, he ain't the chosen one. Fuck you talking about? I heard that motherfucker was coming out of what's it called down there behind Bethlehem. Nah, it wasn't Bethlehem. It was supposed to be like some other name or some shit. Like, he, and that motherfucker's a carpenter's son. Like, who the fuck is he? Who the fuck is he? He did spit some knowledge though. He did drop some knowledge that day. Remember that day he told them motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying about the parables. Octavia Butler wrote a couple of stories about or novels. I think I don't know if you call them novels, stories like about parables. The parable of the sower. And as a Jehovah's Witness, we grew up studying Christ and those parables. And there's the one parable where he talks about the guy, the rich, wealthy guy who gives I think talents, which is a form of currency back then. He gives them talents. And if you ever, as Jehovah's Witnesses, this is what we did. This is what they did. One of the practices, which I appreciate. They researched a lot of things, right? And so one of the things they did was they they would analyze these things. What is a talent worth back then? I think it was like the alabaster oil was like a year's wage, I believe, back then. Alabaster oil, that's the oil that I think Mary used used on Jesus's feet to wash his feet, the alabaster oil. The talents, I think it's like one talent is like they were big. They were big, right? And so the master, that's what they call them back then, because you gotta understand, master and slave is a terminology that came up based on, I mean, like in our most recent history, master and slave became a very, very, very negative thing. And as I've said before, the relationship between master and slave is one that should tell you a lot more about your, like, are you accepting what you've been told? Just because you've been told your family lineage was slaves and this other guy's family lineage was masters. Like, if you had been told your family were the masters, would you feel different? I have the feeling to think so. I have the feeling to think so. When you don't even realize the relationship entry between master and slave is simply the same. The slave is a master, and the master is a slave. It's like the last and the first. Everything is like that. You just got to be smart enough to figure it out. Go to the ether library that's up in the skies. Tap into it with your heart. The ego is trained to be afraid of change. And it is our work daily to retrain it to be for change. You see, if you can cultivate the ability to retrain your ego to start moving you in directions where things are seemingly difficult, right? To not run from a fight in the emotional, spiritual way. In other words, challenge yourself. Not like if you went to college, you didn't challenge yourself. So you know what I'm saying? Like, why do I say that? Why does Rodison say that if you went to college, if you say you went to college, you didn't challenge, that wasn't a challenge. What a challenge is when everything seems to be against you. And the only thing you have to reside or trust in is yourself. It's why Martin Luther King was powerful. Why Christ is powerful. Like the motherfuckers who are powerful is because no, they didn't have. Denzel Washington said this like not too long, like a while ago. The devil backs up his own. And I don't believe it in that way. I believe everything is for a reason. Like the devil is my friend as well. The devil is my friend. Like this is what I'm trying to understand with you guys. I've made friends with everything and everyone because why wouldn't I? It's in my reality. The devil is your friend. How so? What does the devil bring you? What does the devil bring you? What does it? Like just think, what does it bring you? I'm not gonna tell, I can't tell you what the devil brings you. You know what the devil brings you. What does the devil bring you? And why is it considered bad for you? Is it a choice that you have to make? Like any situation any motherfucker's been in where there's been like, do this or like oh God, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. It's like that Biggie song. Oh no, he's gonna do it again. Kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. If you're scared, if you're more in line with going along with the crowd for their approval, then you're gonna tell yourself the devil is anything that's telling you that anytime you're not supported. You see what I'm saying? Like Denzel said, the devil, like in other words, this was funny. This was so funny, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, so let's break it down slowly and surely. Denzel said that when a person is doing what is good, meaning like when you're doing what God sent you to do, and I'm not going to speak in terms of religion and stuff like that. I'm talking about, I believe I am my own God. I am God. So when he says that, I take that as when God sent me here, when I sent myself here, when I accepted this mission, and you could choose to do the same, or you could choose to do what everybody else has been doing before you and probably will do sometimes after you until we shift out of this reality into a higher place. And you'll be left behind, still on the same stupid notions and ideas that everything is exactly what your parents told you. Nothing can be different. Although you had rebel against them many a times and you still holding it against them for rebelling against them, for not letting you do your thing. But okay, let's go with that. So according to what Denzel said, is the devil when you're in a situation where everybody is like externally supporting you, cheering you on. That's the devil. That's the devil. That's what he said for him. Meaning you're going to be doing your thing, working hard, busting your ass, doing it all. And you ain't gonna get the support. You ain't gonna get the support. And you're gonna think that God ain't with you. But Denzel is putting you on the game. putting you on to game. Game meaning letting you know what the real game is. Meaning that if you are feeling like you are not having the support from your amigos, your so-called familia, if you feel like there's no support from the external world around you, the ones who are claiming to be your friends, the ones who are claiming to be your compadres, your companions, your partners, if you feel like you're sensing that there ain't no real support there, Denzel is telling you that you're doing the right thing. So is the devil bad, or is it just a sign to let you know you accepting the ego? You like them supporting you. So even if yeah, they not stupid. They're not stupid at all. They'll give you a little tidbit first. Here we support you, Rod. We support you over here. We support like little crumbs. And what the crumbs are doing, they're pulling me in a certain direction. So support, support, support. Next thing you know, I walk and I'm in theirs. I'm theirs now. So you say something different to what they're saying? Nah, because why? They're not gonna support it. And I want the support. They've gotten me hungry for support. They've gotten you hungry for support from them. So you tell yourself, your 2,000, 2 million likes that you got from everybody, you tell yourself, God's working with me. Denzel said, no, that's the devil, bitch. God don't need support from motherfuckers. You are God. So who's supporting you? The one God that's supposed to be the only true motherfucking God to you is supposed to be all the support you need. That's what people say. Follow your passion. Follow it as if there's no one else on the planet who cares about it. Follow it as if it's the only thing you know. Follow it to the fucking end. Follow your passions because why? You cannot be consumed or considerate of what others think about what you are doing because if you are, then you are in line with them and you are not living your own life. Your life can't be the same pattern for 20 million other people. It literally has to be only your path. So it has to look strange from another motherfucker if he or she has the stupidity to look at you and judge. But you too concerned with that. You too concerned with looking, appearing as if you are together, as if you are accepted. You prefer to be accepted, and you don't understand. That's what Denzel is saying. That's the devil. Is he a bad guy? No. It's the energy of this idea that your ego needs to be fed. It needs to be supported by the external world around you. And the internal person is left on the fucking corner waiting for the bus again. Mom ain't pick up from school. Dad left her, forgot about him. You are that. That's what it means. So the devil ain't a bad thing. You can get your devil to work with you. God and the devil is one and the same. You got to be dumb, man. I swear to God. I keep saying duality so people could get it. Dual realities. Where does duality come out of? Where did two come from? I know this is not a part of your mathematical equations or systems that you've been taught here, but do your fucking math. Use your heart. Where did two come from? How did two come from? Out of four? No. Two don't come out of four. Two came out of one. That's how it starts, right? Two comes out of one. Use your brains. You didn't go from 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, all the way down to 1 and 0. You didn't do that. That's not what they taught you in grade 1. What did they teach you? One. One. Or even before that. What's that? What's that? What's that, Rod? What you looking through, Rod? What you looking through? How would one decide that it wants to be two? How could two decide it wants to be one? You got to go back to where you start. You see what I'm saying? So if you believe that we start from one, then that's the one you are. Was that one when it was just the one, only the one looking around like, man, this is a vast, okay, what can we do? You know, I wonder, I would like to experience myself. I would like to experience myself. Sounds sexual, doesn't it? Right? But that's what the one would say. I would like to experience myself. I would like to observe myself. And that's the first thoughts of separation in a sense of experiencing. one's own self to the point where it starts to multiply even more. You want to do it even more. You want to do it even more. And becomes, when this big old mirror becomes fractionized, so that all of the fractional pieces are reflecting and informing. You see what I'm saying? So it's one mirror, but your fraction that you are, the broken off piece that you are, is supposed to report something back, something that the other ones have in them, but are not reporting back. They're supposed to be reporting something else back because they got a different angle. Angels and angels, same thing. Biblically, when an angel came to tell you something, when you said Paran is an angel of light, what are they doing? An angle. They're bringing to your perspective that you didn't originally consider. It's an angle. It's an angel. It's a perspective, right? So those are the perspectives that are more intrinsic to who we are. The idea that if you're living your life and you're chartering a course for yourself, contrary to what popular belief and thinking is, meaning popular belief and thinking could be your own exact family, your partner, it could be anything. What you believed yesterday could be anything. You shifting. So what this teaches us is to consider everything, leave nothing. Consider everything with the idea of resolving it, that everything is there to help you. If you consider everything with the idea that it is there to help you, then what do you think it's going to do for you? Kick you in the ass and tell you, fuck off, motherfucker. You're the dummy. No, it will help you. You just have to understand help looks different. Like, it's like you're Michael Phelps of the fucking oceans. You're a dolphin and some shit, some right, but you don't know it yet. And you there in the water like, help! Help! And motherfuckers looking at you like, I am not throwing this motherfucker, let him drown. Let him drown. And you looking at the motherfuckers like, these motherfuckers do not care about me. They don't care about me. But they like, what the fuck they playing games for? But then there's other people in the water who can swim just as good as you are. You can. Yeah, you can swim just as good as you can. Yeah. Why? Why do you need somebody to be a better swimmer, or you need to be the better swimmer than somebody? It's like, what the fuck is with this competition you guys play? Like, your life doesn't actually have to know what the other dude is doing or chick is doing. Like, why do you need to know that? Ain't that way too much information for me? Like, I feel like my life is so, no, let me tell you this right now. If I had my dream, and this is just dreaming based on this physical reality, because like sometimes you just get tired of dealing with people and the ideas that people just limiting beliefs, limiting motherfucking beliefs. Like, do you understand what a limiting belief is? Do you understand what that is? Limiting beliefs. Don't get me wrong. We adhere to limits because why? We're in a dimension and a realm that is based on limits. Duality is a limit. You can't experience the one unless you experience the two portions individually and then merge them back together. That's duality. But the purpose of the dual realities is so that you can call yourself back to conscious and remember that everything is one. Everything. Your duality didn't just split up the planet into different land masses. Your duality didn't just split you up into 12 or 13 different periods in a year. Your duality didn't just say, yo, we're going to go up, down, left, right, and we're going to do east, west, north, and south. Your duality didn't just break things up into different forms so that you can, it didn't just do to one thing, it did to everything in your reality. This idea of love, what is love? You can't even put your finger on it. When I was, as Joe's Wings, you talked about agape and you talked about philia love, a brotherly love and a more, the Filet of love, which obviously the name Philadelphia City of Brotherly Love. And then there's agape, which is the love which the scripture says God loved the world so much that he sent his only begotten son. That's the agape love. The agape love is a total sum love, is a love for everything because you are it. It is you. You are one. But yet you are here having an individual experience. And so the philia love says that in this individual experience, you will have twin flames, you will have soul contracts, you will have individuals that are aligned with you specifically for that purpose, that course that you're on, for that life. Duality. It took love and it cut it in two. Many languages will tell you that English is one of the worst languages for understanding the depths of love. Now, how were you ever going to jump into the depths of love if you didn't take it and break it up into various different points? Everything in life is love. Everything, just so you know. Everything is love. Love is the idea that you can exist, that you do exist, that you are here. That is love. Love is the only reason you said, yeah, I want to experience myself. Because you love yourself. So then everything else is because of love. So if you are doing anything and it ain't because of love, it is because of love you're doing it. At the end of the day, hate is love. Everything is love. If you are doing it, the fact that you can do it, you have the ability to do it. You want to go kill 50 people? I don't tell you to do it, but you can do it. That means what? Freedom, love. Now you tell me how you see it different. You tell me how you see a man who murders 20 million people as not loving. You see what I'm saying? But you're going to say, well, Rob, because he just killed 20 million people. It's the actual fact that the freedom he had or she had is the product of love. If you say I can't even think, I can't move, I can't, still love. I can see you. You're right there. Love is all of that. Love is you. Love is the one time in the 1,200 years that you've lived that you said something nice. That's love. Still is. Still is. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You can't not exist. It's like saying I'm not alive because I get treated so shit like shit. I'm not alive. This life ain't real for me because I get treated like shit. No, no, it's pretty much real. In fact, that's how you know it's real because you feel like you get treated like shit. That's love. It's love because why? What is it gonna make you do? All right. So I have to love myself. It reminds you, motherfucker killed 50 people. Man, what did he go through? What would cause a person to do something like that? Man, it couldn't be that he felt and understood the love that was his or hers. See, you have the ability to not judge, but do something better. Do something better with your energies, which is to alchemize something. You know, alchemy gets put in this realm of like so magical and mystical and all this other stuff, and it is in a sense, but it's proof. It is proof. I mean, Walt Disney, like the people I'm gonna call up to your name, call out to you, is like you people you probably gonna think like, why this motherfucker mention that motherfucker? Walt Disney. Disney was all about magic, right? Now, did the actual physical motherfucker, like regardless of what you think about him, man, like this what I'm saying? Dig deeper, deeper. Go and then go deeper than that. You know what I love about people? I remember, and I big people, I don't have no problem giving people props, man. Kanye would say the same thing. He would always talk about the people that he admired, and Walt Disney was one of them. And I remember being like, "Fuck you, man, Walt Disney for fuck." But have you ever thought about if you put aside your prejudices, even as a so-called black person, you do have prejudices. Like a motherfucker slap you 15 times, yeah, you might not like that motherfucker anymore, and it might carry over to his descendants, right? So you got prejudices. But when a motherfucker who you admire says something about something that you know you've held a different view, a more negative view of, do you utilize that opportunity? See what I'm saying? To shift, to say if he or she can do it. Like people don't understand. Like when Jesus said somebody smacks you, turn the other cheek, and I was like, and I listened to Martin Luther King where he's walking through Chicago and they throwing bricks and shit, and like some stone hit him in the head or some shit like that. And I'm like, the dude is just like, keep it moving. Yo, yo, man. Let me just say this plain, and this will be the last thing I'll say. The demonstration of love, the demonstration of the depth of love one carries for themselves and acknowledges for themselves is based on the fact of whether or not whatever happens knocks them off of their course, their perceived course. And for Martin Luther King, for Jesus, for Christ, and the examples that I'm following and the way I've been moving in my life is to be so loving to myself that nothing knocks me off the course. Even if the thing may happen that you all and I might have said yesterday, if that happens, I'm gonna fucking kill them people. Today, I say to you, my course is not me killing people. So if that did happen to me, guess what I'm gonna do tomorrow? I'll see you again.